In fact, some of them are saying they never said to bomb Iran at all. Oh, wow. Masih Alinejad, I do not belong to the group of opposition that romanticized the war, and I kiss the hands of my critics.
So Hasan Piker just exposed how Iranian war hawks are desperately rewriting history after their bombing campaign backfired spectacularly. We're watching a masterclass in accountability, how supposed anti-regime activists pushed for war, then vanished when it failed. Let's break down this pattern.
Masih Alinejad is now walking back her calls for the U.S. to attack Iran after nearly a decade of support for sanctions of war. Few Iranian American voices have been as supportive of bombing Iran or as aggressive in defaming opponents of war as Masih Alinejad. But now that it's clear that the war has been a disaster, Alinejad predictably backtracks and tries to portray herself as a victim. But her contemptible role will not be forgotten.
This follows the classic war hawk playbook perfectly. Masih Najad spent years on Fox News and CNN demanding military action, then disappeared once the consequences became clear. Same pattern we saw with Iraq WMD cheerleaders who later claimed they had concerns all along.
Remember when she was literally the first day that the bombing started, she was crying tears of joy, running around and yelling at random New Yorkers being like, "We have done it. He is dead. Ayatollah is dead. President Trump, thank you, thank you, thank you."
Dead! Free Iran!
That's what she was doing.
The digital age makes this accountability impossible to escape. Every TV appearance, every tweet celebrating bombing is archived forever. These war advocates can't just memory hole their bloodthirsty cheerleading when reality contradicts their fantasies. The receipts are permanent now.
But the reason why I was bringing that up is because Maria Bartiromo is talking to Ro Khanna about how, everyone loves what Trump has been doing in Iran, like, Pahlavi, Reza Pahlavi, and, all these like Iranian people have been celebrating, and they haven't been. They were celebrating initially, but they haven't been.
Well, yeah, I mean, obviously
they're late because it's been a massive failure.
Notice how Fox News quietly stopped booking these Iranian exiles once the war stalled? Media outlets love war hawks when bombs are dropping, but abandon them when body counts rise. The silence of former cheerleaders is the loudest admission of policy failure.
Which is what triggered the closure of the Strait of Hormuz to begin with. Like, it was unimpeded, untouched for all of those 40 plus years, with like one exception during the Iran-Iraq war for a brief moment. But outside of that, it's never been contested. Iran just never took advantage of the power that they had over the Strait of Hormuz.
The Strait of Hormuz carries 21% of global petroleum exports, $1.2 trillion annually. Iran controlled this choke point for decades without shutting it down, showing remarkable restraint. War hawks portrayed them as irrational actors when they were actually the responsible party.
They were complying with the deal with the JCPOA, and they were unfreezing asses less than Trump, by the way, much less than Trump. Yeah. Not that I have an issue with that. It was successful until Trump ripped it apart for no reason.
The JCPOA had unprecedented international monitoring. IAEA inspectors confirmed Iranian compliance for 3 years straight. Even Israeli intelligence admitted it was working. Trump destroyed a functioning diplomatic solution purely for domestic political theater, not security.
But from the perspective of like pro-America, it is a pretty remarkable achievement that this was a multilateral commitment that brought Russia, China, all of the European partners on board. We got unprecedented access to Iranian nuclear facilities, which, by the way, Israel used to their advantage to like assassinate Iranian academics over and over again, which is unbelievable.
Getting Russia and China to agree on Iran sanctions was a diplomatic miracle that took years to negotiate. Then Israel exploited the monitoring access to assassinate Iranian scientists, proving they never wanted diplomacy to succeed, just intelligence for targeted killings.
The reason why Biden didn't do on the JCPOA was because he was chicken shit. And also was unbelievably pro-Israel.
Right.
Okay? And has always been unbelievably pro-Israel. And that's precisely the reason why he did not act on the previous negotiations that took place while he was the vice president of Barack Hussein Obama.
Biden's 50-year Senate record shows unwavering Israel support. He called himself a Zionist repeatedly. His refusal to restore the Iran deal wasn't weakness. It was ideological commitment to Israeli preferences over American diplomatic interests and regional stability.
They called him an old piece of shit. who sucks dick and did everything in their power to get Trump elected, and they have never stopped saying Biden sucked for the one time where he stopped one transfer of 2,000-pound bombs to Israel. That was the biggest crime against Israel, even though he kept setting up red lines and Israel kept violating it, and he just kept rewarding Israel for violating that over and over again.
The absurdity is staggering. Biden gave Israel unlimited weapons, diplomatic cover, and billions in aid, yet they called him anti-Semitic for briefly pausing one bomb shipment. Shows how completely captured American foreign policy is to Israeli demands.
Trump is the one who ripped apart the JCPOA, which is why Iran started enriching uranium once again. Never to really build a nuclear weapon, which I think is a failure on the Iranian side, but I'm not Iranian. I have no say in this process. They should have just developed nukes instantly. As soon as Trump ripped apart the JCPOA, Iran should have been like, okay, nuke time. Sorry, we tried. It didn't work.
Iran's restraint after JCPOA withdrawal was strategically foolish. Any other country would have immediately gone nuclear after America broke the deal. Their good faith compliance was rewarded with bombing campaigns, proving diplomacy doesn't work with bad faith actors.
America's bombing Iran right now because guess what? If Iran had nukes, America would not be bombing a nuclear armed nation. Here's evidence. Here's further evidence of that reality. Is America bombing North Korea?
No, I was just gonna bring that up.
They're not. So obviously, when you have nukes, America doesn't bomb you because all of a sudden you are a part of the mad policy, okay?
Nuclear deterrence theory in action. America doesn't bomb North Korea because Kim Jong-un has nukes. Pakistan, India, Israel all get respect because of nuclear weapons. Iran's decision to stay non-nuclear enabled the current bombing campaign against them.
He says Trump said Friday that the Strait of Hormuz situation was over. It very obviously wasn't. Trump said Friday that Iran agreed to never close the Strait of Hormuz again. The next day, Iran closed the Strait of Hormuz again. Trump said yesterday that Vance isn't going to Pakistan for the talks. Officials quickly said Vance is going to Pakistan for the talks. Trump said this morning that Vance had left and would be there tonight Islamabad time. Officials quickly said Vance is actually leaving tomorrow. Trump said Iran has no military anymore and that everything is gone. Iran continues to have military with destructive capabilities. Trump said the Pope issued a statement saying Iran can have nuclear weapons. That never happened. That'd be kind of funny though if the Pope was like, yeah, I think Iran should have a nuclear weapon is really funny.
This fact-checking is devastating because it shows a 13% truth rate, meaning Trump lies 87% of the time about Iran. Yet mainstream media treats his obvious fabrications as legitimate policy statements rather than the delusional ravings they clearly are.
There was an analyst that said that only 13% of what Trump has said so far since Operation Epstein's Fury began has been true.
Yeah, it's like so like I don't even think he can track it.
I've said this before. Trump is the worst person to go to if you want to understand what's about to happen because he doesn't know what he's going to say next.
A president with 13% accuracy is clinically unreliable. Yet cable news still analyzes his lies as if they contain strategic insight. We're watching American media dignity collapse in real time, treating pathological lying as normal political discourse.